whenever we find a spot, I will cast Mordekainen's Private Sanctum.
Nice. Super barrier.
Mm.
How big is it?
It can be up to 100 feet on each side. So
Wow.
very big.
Huge.
Yeah.
Spacious place.
So much room for activities.
Yeah. We could set up a whole fairground
Can we
and
make
just have...
pumpkins?
Go for a jog.
Step right up. Step right up.
No one will be
Your-
able to hear you. No one will be able to see you.
Your respite from eternal fighting and damnation. Little corner of paradise. Hello, adventurer, and welcome to our Heroes of Theros actual playthrough. As always, it is a safe-for-work and story-driven D&D campaign. If you're a first-time viewer, we recommend starting your quest on Episode 1. Otherwise, stick around and be transported to the mythic world of Theros. Last time, our heroes found themselves in Agonas, the last destination for those who lived their lives as mercenaries or honorless warriors. The group began trekking along the river in attempts to find Elysia, where they think Adelphos may be. While trekking, they discovered themselves to be going in a loop that ended back at the temple, when they were attacked by a massive skeleton patrolling the borders of the underworld. After a long fight, they were victorious, and once it ended, came across yet another familiar face, Calen's old guildmate, Baxter. And that is where we left off. Very short recap.
Yeah, that was short.
We were all prepared and ready for
I know.
a big script.
As we are following Baxter, can I just very
Yes.
slightly just take one of my rapiers and try and put it through his cloak? Not like stab, but just kind of like brush it to see if it's real.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second.
Oh, stop! That tickles.
Great. Roll initiative.
He's like, give me 1 second. Okay, everybody roll for initiative.
Everyone roll for initiative. Yeah, did when we saw the other people in line,
Mhm.
Wasn't it?
like I just blanked on her name. But
Apollonia.
Apollonia, yeah.
Mhm.
Were they corporeal or were they kind of see-through?
They,
Does
by that definition, they were corporeal.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they look like people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And they look like they've got solidness to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Substance.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're able to catch the back of his cloak with your rapier, and when you do, you are unclear. It seems real, it seems corporeal, but there's something different about its nature than normal physical beings, if that makes sense.
It's thick.
Baxter, can I ask you a question?
You see he kind of like stops and holds up his hand. There's like a cluster of rocks And he sort of like motions you all to kind of get down for a second.
I'll huddle down with him.
And as you do, you see in the distance another one of those large. Sorry, does everybody huddle down with him?
Yeah.
Yes.
I won't have you roll stealth. It's far enough away. But you see in the distance. When I say in the distance, I mean several hundred yards away. Another large, towering, undead figure, skeleton, wielding a long, cankered sword and a splintered shield, sort of slowly meandering through this wasteland. And you see it kind of stop for a minute and crane its head around and then like keep walking.
What are they?
And you see without turning back and looking at you, he just peers over the rock. And he says, Phylaxia. They are the guardians that protect the borders of the underworld. They're on the hunt for stray souls.
Everywhere or just
Everywhere.
in Agonas? Good to know.
Erebus has many minions and devices down here. Some are more intelligent, while others, as he kind of gestures at the Phylaxia that kind of just like keeps walking, more simple in nature, but all serve a purpose.
You're not one of them, are you?
And he kind of like turns and looks at you. Am I? You can roll an insight check if you'd like. Or do we play this to I roll your insight checks? Didn't we change that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's
that
do that.
way more.
What is your insight check? What's your insight bonus, Tyson?
8.
100.
And 12.
and 12.
You
0.2.
would. You get the idea that he would. You knew Baxter in life, like not well, but like you knew he was a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the idea that it's a little less like. It's more. What would Baxter benefit from doing that as like a real person that has died? You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, like he wouldn't side with Erebos and be like one of his minions or
It's-
something. It just kind of seems likely.
It's less about that Baxter himself wouldn't, but it's more along the lines of you have a basic understanding that the underworld, like Erebus, kind of has a loathing for mortals, and as does Athreos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you more or less get the understanding that even though Baxter is dead, he's separate from Erebus, if that makes any sense. at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. He's kind of more looking over, whereas the mortals are kind of down here. and
Exactly.
he's gonna pull his minions from the top
Yeah.
shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For more godly or
Yeah.
like titanic means, monstrous means, rather than dealing with the fickle mortals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're
And-
not working for Erebos,
No.
but who are you working with?
Not much has changed.
So Phoenix.
But-
Phoenix.
And he kind of looks at you. And he said, I almost forgot about that trickster. Are you still a worshiper?
Not anymore.
Because you killed him before you had sworn fealty to
Yeah.
Krufix. So, and he goes,
I'll hold up my hand and show him the symbol of Krufix.
Hmm.
Kind of a
"I never
rash.
took you."
It was kind of a rash
Indeed.
decision, you know, spur of the moment.
And just like you, impulsive.
Very much.
And you see he kind of looks over the rock again, noticing that the phylaxy is gone. And he says, "All right, follow me." And he begins making his way again. And you see that the path that he is taking is very out of the way. It's not really directly heading to any specific location. And as you move sort of deeper into Agonas, you kind of see these different locations, even outside of arenas, sort of conflicts, battles are taking place, where different formations of armies without allegiances fighting each other in massive bloody conflicts that end almost as quickly as they begin. And then soon after, you sort of see those who were fallen in battle, sort of like, almost like you guys had seen on the river, edge of the river Tardix. They kind of like pop back up and heal from their wounds and just like keep fighting again. But you get the idea from like the screams of battle that this is not without great pain and suffering.
In broken, very basic Celestial, I want to say to Alondros, be on guard. I don't think we can trust him.
And I would reply in very elegant, proper Celestial. I would agree. I don't think we could trust him in life, and I don't think, as he said, much has changed. But for now, he's our best option.
And you see, as you guys kind of turn from your conversation, you see Baxor looking at the both of you. And he says, "I would take caution using Heliod's language down here." And you get the idea that he may not understand what you're saying, but he recognizes.
He
the language.
recognizes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give him a
So-
shrug. What can I say? I'm impulsive.
It's not much further. And as you wind between the several different platforms, battlefields, and arenas, all intermingled with the sounds of warfare, you come across a grand arena sort of standing by itself. And as you begin to approach, you see that the borders are guarded. You see various warriors from different creeds, backgrounds, and nations sort of standing and from time to time fighting off a wanderer that may try and make it to the Colosseum itself. And you see, as you all approach, Baxor gives a secret signal, and you pass through this border without molestation, without being stopped, and make your way into the arena. And as you do, sort of a different feeling besets you. You hear faintly the sound of a cheering crowd as opposed to the sound of endless battle. And as you wind your way through the steps into the top, into a massive box that overlooks the entire arena, you see the back of a throne. And Baxter sort of just stands to the side of the room.
I'll take a step forward. And who do we have the pleasure of meeting this time?
Meet Calen.
I knew
We've
it.
known each other a very long
I
time.
knew it.
And as you see standing up from behind the throne, a slender Care turns to you all and he says, "Ah, and it seems you brought the whole party."
Missing a few, but we do a lot for friends.
We do a lot for family.
Not so
Isn't
much.
that right, Thalassa?
Not so much.
Come, no, it's... You must be tired. It's difficult to travel here, especially when you're not dead.
And how did one such as yourself get such a grand arena?
What do you mean? I came here and fought like everybody else. I suppose those in power turn a blind eye when you don't give them a reason to pay much attention to you. It seems more of this honorless rabble desired structure than I think they would care to admit. It just took someone with a bit of a firmer grasp to nudge them in the right direction. Of course, it doesn't work exclusively, as he sort of gestures out a large window overlooking the rest of Agonas, which is littered with hundreds of thousands of warriors fighting to the death, and again, over and over and over again. He says, but for those who wish to spend their eternal torment a little less aggravatingly, then there's refuge here.
Can I walk over to the window of the box and look down in the arena? Is there fighting happening down there?
There is, yeah. Yep.
But is it different in the sense of not just all-out warfare, random chaos, but just a bit more structure?
Yes, it has a very Akroan, it has a very Iroan Games feel to it. You see down in the arena there are, it looks to be like two parties or two groups of warriors fighting against each other in the arena. And you sort of see, here, I'll actually show you the map of what you're looking into. But I'm not going to have everybody, this is just what you're going to look like.
It's for you, viewers.
It is. And I won't put your characters down, I'm just going to put the view down.
Okay.
Everyone can see the view, right?
The black one? Yeah.
I cannot currently.
There we go.
There we go.
As you look down into this arena, you see, I'm not going to put the actual fighters in there, but just use your imaginations. There's sort of a group of about 5 or 6 fighters, two groups of about 5 or 6 each, battling each other for what appears to be some sort of prize in the middle of this pedestal. Can't really make out what it is. But you see chained to the 4 pillars a familiar creature. You see 4 displacer beasts chained to these pillars, and you see not only are the individuals fighting each other, but the displacer beasts are trying to attack the individuals as well. And you see in the crowd, again, they all just look like mercenaries, but you see them cheering and jaunting at sort of this spectacle. And you hear Care say, "We're cursed to fight for eternity. But there is no rules against us enjoying it.
What do you offer for these men to seemingly on their own accord participate?
You see he gestures at the arena. Respite. You fight and die. You take a break. Everyone participates. And if your number is called and you refuse to enter the arena, well, then you're barred from the games for eternity. And you can try your luck in the wilderness.
It's barbaric, but I do have to admit you seem to have, as I'm kind of looking around at all this, created some form of law in this lawless world.
Structure. See, it's not always bad.
Okay, we might have ended on poor terms in the mortal realm, but you never cease to amaze me with what you can accomplish. And I mean that genuinely.
It's interesting. There were rumors of mortals making their way here. I kind of hoped it was you. An attempt to save the world, and he looks at the group of you, or perhaps save Theseus, was it? Adelphos?
Adelphos is the one. Probably.
And what happened to your Crowan friend?
He,
Lost his way.
That's a good way to put it.
Ah! And it seems we have yet another Crowan noble in our... He walks over and shakes your hand. Or puts his hand out to shake yours.
Sure, I'll shake his hand.
My name is Care. Overseer of these, as he gestures to the arena, lost souls.
Nice to meet you. I would say, as appealing as it might sound to be staged in combat for eternity sounds, I feel like it would somehow lose its luster.
What choice do we have?
It's fair. Might as well enjoy it.
Do you ever fight?
Oh. And then you see he appears to get distracted, and he kind of goes, oh, this is the best part. And you look down into the arena and you see there is a group that is quite obviously sort of taken control or precedent in this arena. And you see a large, lumbering figure walk towards a wounded warrior in the dirt. And you see he puts his massive hoof on his chest and he goes, and he lifts a massive maul and just brings it down on this guy's head, and then raises his hammer, and the crowd cheers, and Care sort of raises his arms light and turns towards, and he goes, "Huh. Oh. Oh. He never loses. It's great. He's one of the few that actually fights more often than sits, but I don't blame him for that. Oh, you remember Gore, don't you, Calen? Always one for a fight.
Very
We
acquainted.
always had trouble putting him in the right job in our previous organization, but he fits right in here.
I bet he does. I bet he's never been in a better fitting place.
No. He'll come up shortly. I'm sure he'll be ecstatic to see you all.
Possibility. So, word must travel fast around the underworld if news is already spreading of mortals here.
Well, news began when you started the path. First to attempt it. Quite impressed. It's not often we get even the gods wandering their old pathways, but to have mortals, true mortals, come down, well, it's had Erebus quite in an uproar. As you can see as he gestures back out the window, the many phylaxia roaming. Security has increased.
Looking for us then.
Indeed. It's harder to keep track of those not under your control. You see, if any of my patrons try to leave Agonas, they're quickly hunted down, ripped apart, and brought here, or taken to their final resting place in Tizeris, where, well, I'm sure you know.
And what would you like from us?
A company. Truly. You see, it was actually by chance Baxter found you. He likes to recruit the newbies if he can get to them before their guides do. It was by sheer divine intervention. He found you defeating that phylaxia.
Can I look at Baxter and just get
Sure.
a read on him? Is he look concerned? Does he look is he giving me any type of look of hey, tread carefully?
What's your insight?
+2.
He is stone-faced as ever.
We don't mind lending our company, but I think I speak for all of us in saying that our company will be short-lived.
The understatement of the century. Oh, yes, short-lived indeed. As he sort of sits back down in his throne and begins to watch another game that begins.
And what happens to those who die? Do they kind of die and then just raise up where they are, or do they disappear and I can assume that they kind of have to make their way back as we're kind of
a
watching
spawn
them.
point?
Yeah.
That is a great question. They come back where they are. But you can tell it's not a comfortable process. And the end result leaves them rather exhausted and immobile, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it takes a lot of energy to do that. Not that they'll ever expend all their energy and, but like you see those that were killed in the arena
They're like
are
bones
pieced
snap
back.
back into place. And
Yeah, but then after, rather than like jogging off the field like an athlete game, they could sort of like hobble away. Like, it was a great effort. If that
Like, they
makes
can
any
still become
sense.
exhausted, but like they're not going to die of exhaustion.
Exactly. Yeah. And like it looks like that the repair, the resurrection process is an exhaustive one.
Almost like it's more painful to be brought back than it is to actually.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Was Care working with Abdo? Do we know? I know Calen has keen mind, but Connor does not.
Yeah. So, remember that real cool journal that I was going to write in a different language and have you translate?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that never happened.
It did
So it did a little bit, and from what you have translated from the journal, because we're just going to retroactively say that you've done enough.
Okay.
Unless it's one of those things that Callan forgot about and you want to actually do it
No, I've no.
IRL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes and no. Care and his brother, Thalas's father, were sort of put on to this idea of bringing Olantis back by Abdo. But they were never directly in partnership.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What did Abdo want? Was he the one that told you of Olantis's location? Because it seems that he's been meddling in quite a few worldly affairs and is up to something that I've yet been able to figure out, other than destroying Clothis.
When you say that, you feel kind of the entire arena and underworld shake, like a low rumble. And the massive chains outside you can hear clank as they sort of move a little bit. And you see Care kind of looks up and around the room, and he goes, "That was exciting. Well, in answer to your question, he didn't really need anything. You see, he, like many of my patrons before this, contacted me to find a relic for him. That relic was Olantian in nature, and instead of keeping it for himself, he gave it to me. It just so happened that relic, well, he looks at Thalassa, was our lineage, our ancestry, proving our royalty. From there, it wasn't much to take me and your father to discover its whereabouts and try and bring it back.
So, the whole underworld shaking, is that at the mention of her?
See, he kind of gets a coy look in his eye. What's left of her, I suppose.
this is me assuming, is she the reason that all these chains are here?
Some of them, yes. But most of them, I'm not really sure. I just know that the big ones are still being held down. Not for long, though.
Do you know what they're connected to?
The chains?
Yes.
Some say the mortal world, the roots of the mountains in Theros, the depths of the lakes and oceans. Others say to nothing at all. I'm not really sure myself.
Well, I guess it's a good thing we didn't try to climb them.
You tried to climb them. Bold. Bold.
Don't tell us it's never crossed your mind, though.
Why would I want to leave when I have everything I could have ever wanted here? As he kind of like runs his hand over the stone throne that he's on, the armrest.
You know more than you're leading on.
Perhaps, perhaps not.
These
But I mean-
chains. We've heard that Colossus has been bound. Bound animals and creatures. Bigger than anything known.
Monsters. Yes. Some say large enough to shake the foundations of the world.
That's what these chains are, aren't they?
Again, your guess is as good as mine. Calen knows I wasn't the most religious in my mortal life.
Which leads me to a question again. Who are you worshipping here? Do you
No
wor-
one. Myself.
Interesting.
It seems as though deceased's worship doesn't offer quite the same benefits to the gods as those of mortals. Not sure why. They don't care for us much. We don't care for them. Like I said, I give him no reason to look my way. Don't try to escape. Don't try and usurp power. I just organize what I can and live quietly.
Won't you gain
But-
some audience for entertaining us?
What was that?
Won't you gain some audience from entertaining us?
Maybe. But then again, wouldn't there be some reward for the poor soul that brought in the mortals? But maybe not, who knows?
And what is it that you think that they would reward you with?
That's just it. I don't know, and I really don't care.
Insight check. Do I believe
Okay.
him? I want to know whether he actually cares or not.
He is being cavalier enough about it that you get the... Yeah, he is being... Yeah, so cavalier and so playful about all of this that you get the idea that he doesn't really care. And that there's something else. There's another reason why you're here.
So with all of this considered, you're telling us that there's nothing else that you want. There's nothing that you miss from the mortal world.
It's not that I miss it, but rather that I missed it. As he sort of leans around in his throne to look at the four of you.
What is it that you missed?
Your death, Calen.
Still hurt over old things, huh?
Let's just say I like to be paid what I'm owed. And you cost me a lot.
I cost you
You
everything.
see as a twitch of anger comes into his voice.
And you said you wouldn't. You said, why would I want to leave this place? I don't think you have much of a choice, Care. Because where else are you gonna go?
Precisely. My question is, what happens to a mortal soul when it's lost or destroyed in the underworld? And where would you go, Calen? You think you'd make it to Elysia,
Probably not.
walking the fields of beauty? Or Nerino? What regrets do you have of this life? Or is it Phileas? I wouldn't say you weren't uninspired, but I guess you weren't that inspiring either. Or would you just end up here with me and Baxor and Gore and everyone else who took, as you see, he gets up slowly from his throne and starts walking towards you slowly, and murdered and plundered, and you see he turns towards Thalassa, and kidnapped without remorse.
Do you want to know what I'm curious about? And I will, not in a menacing or aggressive way, but I just want to start drawing my Tardix blade. And I just want to run my finger along it. I'm very curious what this blade would do to a soul who is dead in the underworld. You might not have been a religious man, but I know you recognize a very expensive artifact when you see one. So please,
Indeed.
by all means, do it if you
Any
want.
kind-
But just know,
Any kind.
we may find out.
Indeed, we will.
Calen spitting bars, man.
And you see he's very, very close to you, Calen, with his eyes narrowing in a very stern, almost angry look. And then you see all of a sudden he steps back and his face sort of lightens up and he goes, "Then it's decided. You look rather hurt, Calen. How about you take tonight to rest, and then you and I will be the spectacle of tomorrow's games. Winner takes all."
One-on-one.
If that's what you want.
I'll look to the group.
What is the benefit for us? We don't desire your throne. We don't desire your
Oh.
stadium.
That's right. I totally forgot. Oh, the deal maker, the silver-tongued satyr. Always one to throw in there his word of persuasion. I guess there isn't much other than, well, I can have a horde of thousands of bloodthirsty mercenaries chop you to bits. Or I could let you go and fend for yourself in the wilds and die of, well, frankly, starvation or thirst first. How is that going for you, by the way?
Let me answer your question with another question.
And he holds up his hand and he goes, or, regardless of who wins the bout, Baxter will show you the way out of Agonas. And you can continue your futile journey to save your sad little slave friend.
Rude, he's not asleep anymore.
Do you know where Adelphos is?
I don't. He's not here, at least as far as I'm aware. He seemed rather honorable, worshipping Iroas and whatnot. Sorry. Did you have a question, Satyr?
Yes. I just feel that you forget who it was that sent you here. You threaten us with your armies, but you know, if we are more powerful than you, what is your armies worth for us? You don't think that they would just be cannon fodder as we make our way to this exit?
Perhaps. And then you see he walks over to Baxter. But again, you can't do this. And you see he stabs Baxter in the heart and pulls out the knife, and you see in great pain Baxter collapses. And just a few moments later, you see the wound heal over, and in very, very much pain, you see Baxter kind of stand up and straighten. He says, honestly, I don't care enough to try and kill you. And he looks at Thalassa, or you, and he looks at Vasilis. And I really don't even know who you are, so hello and welcome. And he looks back at Calen, and he says, it's true you took everything from me. But the only thing I lament is you taking away my satisfaction of killing you. And that's really all I want, so your friends, you're free to go if you wish. Alan, you are too, but again, I think the hunger and thirst will catch you before I did. I'd much rather just finish it here, clean, put on a show. And then if you die, your friends can continue, and if you live, you can go with them.
Can I have a moment with my friends?
You can have all night if you wish.
I'll give
Don't
you-
wish to fight you now. I'd rather have you fresh. Make it a bit more fair.
I'll give you an answer in the morning then.
then it's settled. And he goes to walk away and he goes, we'll just settle on a few hours. There is really no morning or night here. It's kind of perpetually light, so find a dark place, try and sleep. And I'll see you tomorrow, Calen. And you see he leaves. And Baxter follows him. But you see standing at the door that you came in at, there are other doors to this area leading deeper into the Colosseum. You see Gore, sort of wild-eyed and fresh. And behind him, several more Minotaurs.
Is he
And
missing
you
both his
gather...
horns?
He is missing both his horns. But he has iron or brass horns built up on both sides of him.
I like your new horns, Gore.
I would kill you, except Care says no.
That must be very hard for you.
It is. That's okay. Care will kill you. And I get the scraps. As he kind of looks at the three of you. Thalassa, Vasilis, and Alondros.
Actually, Care says we go free. So,
That must be even harder to hear.
As much as I'd love to put down another Minotaur.
And you see he raises his hammer and he swings down at you, Alondros. But you see it falls short and clatters to the stone at your feet, not injuring you at all, but cracking the marble beneath your feet. And he breathes heavy. Stupid satyr. And he kind of like walks off into the he goes to walk off into the hallway.
I'll call out the door. So close, just like your fight with Adelphos. Oh wait, it wasn't.
And he turns around and he goes, points with his fingers at the four of you, and you see he's making out very rudimentary brain, and he goes, seem to be missing silly Akros boy. Fun to watch him die. He deserved it. And then he just continues off into the hallway.
I thought they were dead and didn't take orders from anyone. Why is he still taking orders from Care?
Care's a very charismatic person.
that was terrifying.
I can imagine.
As I kind of step back from this cracked floor with this hammer.
I mean, you didn't move an inch though, Alondros. I know you were probably terrified, but man, did you stand your ground.
Didn't even hear
Whether
it.
in fear or not, I'm impressed, Satyr.
Bigger hoofs than he had.
Don't know if I could have moved if I wanted to.
I'll push the doors closed. Should we find a place to rest? I mean, I can't imagine they have like magics here that allow them to scry on us, do they? Doesn't seem like the
I don't
best place
know.
to have a conversation.
Well, if we want this to be our spot, I do have some magics that can help us with that.
Care is not the most fair, so
I think we go find somewhere else. Well, I'll look out into the hallway, open the door up, look out into the hallway.
Like the one where you guys came from.
Yeah.
It's the pack of Minotaurs there. There's 6 of them.
Evening, gentlemen. Should we go find a place to sleep then?
Yes. Don't know if we'll find much of a bed, but at least a quiet corner for us.
Hopefully. Not likely, though.
And whenever we find a spot, I will cast Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum.
Which does
on our area.
what?
It
Is it like
makes it so sound cannot pass through the barrier that I make. The barrier appears dark and foggy from anyone looking in, so they can't see us. Divination spells can't be casted on us. We can't be targeted by divination spells. Nothing can be teleported in, or planar travel is also blocked as well. So,
Nice.
kind of.
Sweet.
Super barrier.
Mm.
How big
Yeah.
is it?
It can be up to 100 feet on each side. So,
Wow.
very big.
Huge.
That is
Yeah.
Spacious place.
So much room for activities.
Yeah. We could set up a whole fairground
Can we
and
make
just have.
pumpkins?
Go for a jog.
Step right up. Step right up.
No one will be
You're-
able to hear you. No one will be able to see you.
Your respite from eternal fighting and damnation. Little corner of paradise. 1 copper a peak.
After Alondros gets this up, I'm gonna turn.
Yeah,
to the
you're
group.
able to find like a
what?
room. Yeah. So this arena is not dissimilar to the ones that you've been in. You know, the one on the Isle of Skies, the one in Akros, sort of on the lower levels where they would have kept animals or gladiators, things like that. You can find an area, like a trading room that's large enough and private enough that you can put this up.
Hey, we have to leave, right? As much as I want to fight Care, and my initial impulse is to agree to his stupid deal, I am not willing to risk your 3 lives just for some satisfaction of seeing what my blade will do to an undead soul. Well, a dead soul.
But to play the devil's advocate here, how else will we find a way out? If he truly knows how to leave this place, how else do we find that information?
I would agree, and I can't personally think of any other bargaining power we would have.
I mean, here's my counter. If he does know a way out, and the gods aren't paying attention, why hasn't he just left? If it's that easy to just go from realm to realm, unless it's not, unless he is chained to this realm, which is certainly a possibility.
Well,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
It's
No,
the last
you're
one.
fine.
Sorry. No, you go.
didn't he say that those things, the Phylexia, can find souls easier? Perhaps that's why he has not left.
True. I just don't...
And he's made a pretty good setup for himself here.
He has. I don't... Care was always the type of man to present a deal in a way that it feels like the only offer. I'm sure he I mean, there has to be another way. And for once in my life, I'm trying to not be impulsive and just run headfirst into things. I'm attempting to learn from past, a few mistakes, or many.
Some not so planned events.
I mean, he said it himself. We were some of the first, or the first, to attempt this path to get to the underworld. I see no reason that if we can't achieve that we can't figure it out somehow. And again, I don't want to... As slim of a chance as it is, I don't want to be able to not be there to resurrect one of you and bring you back if it comes to that. If it's even possible, if there's the slightest chance, then this isn't worth it. But if we feel like it's our only option, then I am well suited for one-on-one combat.
And I have a few things I could do that could help as well. If there was another way, though, that you did not have to fight, I would prefer that.
I would have to agree.
You never know what sort of tricks he has discovered down here.
It's true.
I do think, though, that if you do have to fight, I say that he tells Baxor where it is that we need to go, and then Baxor tells us as the fight begins. That way, no matter what the outcome is, there's no double crossing.
Unless he tells
If he-
Baxor a lie.
And if he does, then we interject. We cheat ourselves. But that way we at least have the information that we need, and
Is there any chance Baxor would talk to you more? Without care. Truthfully.
Maybe a slight chance, but he was always very loyal. Never questioned authority much.
even if that authority will, to prove a point, stab him through the heart.
I'm willing to do it.
Maybe we start there. And then if it's a lost cause, then you fight and we give you everything that we can. We stack the chips in your favor.
Alright, let's go find him. Can I cast sending?
Yeah.
To back.
What's the verbiage?
Has to be 25 words. They hear the message in their mind. They can answer back with 25 words. And I can send it across any distance and even other planes of existence. Even to other
Boom.
planes of existence.
Done. Yeah, absolutely. A creature with a creature with which you are familiar. Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Do you need to rest before you do all this stuff?
He wants to do it before his rest. So he
Yeah,
can
I would
get
say
his
do it
spells off
before.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Baxter, can you... meet us at... And I'll use, like, I don't know, 10 words to describe where we're at. Can I just burn 10 words?
Sure.
Okay.
Dark, stony, kind of cold place.
This is not specific at all. That's not helpful at all.
Go down. Don't turn left. Turn right. Go straight. Turn left. Don't right. Back.
If you see
And
2 lefts, you went too far.
too late. It cuts off at 2 lefts.
I wish to talk.
That's exactly 24 if you're burning the 10 to
Yep.
meet up with you.
That's it.
He says, okay.
Do you think he knows that he could have used 24 more words? Like, it doesn't have to be, 24 for me and then he's the one to get to 25. He could have done it.
We don't know,
That's
but
whatever.
you've got
I
the
think he's
answer.
coming. I think he's coming.
Then it hangs up.
Can you
Yeah.
He hears all of that.
can you allow people to come in to this area? Or does it have to be set when you created it?
It doesn't block entrance,
Hmm.
physical entrance per se.
Okay.
At least I don't think it does.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's
Cube of
just.
force or something.
That's like the
But it
bubble.
basically, it's kind of like makes a space that would be like inconspicuous. Like people wouldn't necessarily want to go and explore it because it just looks like,
Normal.
yeah, just some random thing. But I think we can, yeah, people can walk through freely.
Some
they just can't,
random
like,
100 by
teleport
100
or-
foot cube of just void looking mist.
Yeah.
Mama, what's that? I don't know. We're not gonna go in it though.
I don't know, what's weird or something. I don't know.
Don't touch it.
It's like, she's like,
What
"It's
cube?
like-
There's no cube. This is the sky.
Honestly, it's 50-50. Your father's been in one, it was a carnival. Your uncle went in one, it was a death trap. So I don't know if we're going to go through there.
All right, I will anxiously wait for Baxter to arrive.
Are you waiting outside the inconspicuously mysterious
I will
cube?
wait outside.
Inside the inconspicuously mysterious cube?
Definitely outside. I didn't
They told
mention
me to
anything
come
about it.
here, but all I see is this random cube.
This random inconspicuous thing. How
My,
That's
fa-
just
my,
this
father,
is
my father went
them.
into one time and it was a carnival. And my uncle went in one time and it was a death trap. I remember my mother telling me this story years ago.
I do not go in. Morning comes, you're fighting cat. No, just kidding. Yeah, you see, after a while, Baxter comes down the stairs to the hallway leading to this mysteriously unmysterious cube.
Are you willing to step inside and have a conversation? I assure you nothing. No harm will become of you.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it did.
You make a good point, and I'll step inside.
He'll follow you.
I want to start with saying, and I'll kind of just be looking at the ground, and then I'll glance up at him. I am sorry for how things had to end between us. For what it's worth.
And he kind of looks at Vasilis, Thalassa, and Alondros. He says, "Can we have a minute?"
Absolutely.
Yes, we will go in this other inconspicuous cube.
You have
A
another
partition wall
inconspicuous
comes up.
cube?
Alondros goes over, hits a button, and it's like...
It's like
It's
a two-sided mirror.
It's split in half like a water droplet, you know, that like morphs back
He's
together.
parting the sea. He's doing it. You're doing it, Alondros. You're doing it.
It's working!
Do you believe?
You're like, guys, check this out.
I mean, it doesn't require concentration. I can
It doesn't?
No.
Okay.
I
Morning
just
King's
cast it and it lasts for 24 hours.
Wow.
Okay,
That's
so
It is 10
You-
minutes to cast though.
You step out of this mysteriously inconspicuous cube and
That's
backstore
what the show needs to
and
call.
Calen watch for 10 minutes as Alondros
Make
does this
another one.
ritual to just make another one in this room.
I promise it normally doesn't take this long.
There's like some random dude walking by. He's just like, why are there two very inconspicuous
One's a
cubes in this
carnival."
room?
I know this trick. It's a 50-50 chance.
It's a 50-50 chance.
He's like,
My
"That
mother
means-"
told me when I was a child.
He's like, that means 100% chance one of them's a death trap. I ain't taking those odds. Walks away.
On second thought, it also means 100% chance that one is a carnival.
He like walks. You guys see Alondros, Vasilis, and Thalassa see just a random dude walking. He goes, "Is there a carnival in here or what?"
Nope,
the
you
carnival?
picked wrong.
Nope, just the death traps.
No, nobody comes down. This is like a very empty part of the arena. Okay. We'll pan back to the other mysteriously inconspicuous cube.
I just have to say, that is the name of this spell now, by the way.
The mysteriously inconspicuous
I'm
cube.
casting the mysterious inconspicuous cube.
Well, that's how you described it. You're like, yeah, it's just like a really inconspicuous, mysterious space that no one would want to go in. Like,
I don't know why. That space, it doesn't make me think much. But there's
But
a
it's
hint of mystery.
Well, you definitely don't want to go in there. It's fine.
But also,
But
it's
again, it's
very
not much.
inconspicuous.
It's just, yeah, just the way you describe it to me would be like
great.
an adventuring party, like, comes across something like that. They absolutely check it out.
Yeah.
Like, they're-
Oh, yeah.
Like if I as a DM were like, yeah, you see like this 100-foot by 100-foot cube. It's like kind of opaque, shimmering, like misty, like not really, like you don't really think anything of it. Pretty inconspicuous, but you
But
can't
it
see
piques
anything
your
inside.
interest.
But you feel
Like,
the,
I wanna go
the
pet that
slight
dog.
They're like,
tinge of
"What?"
mystery as you look at it.
It's like the
Oh,
Jerry
what?
cube.
Yeah.
Did someone say mystery?
Anyway, back to
The-
backdoor.
Bring it in.
If
There
you-
is a
wait,
50% chance, though.
If you've enjoyed this talk of mysteriously inconspicuous cubes, give us a like and a follow and a subscribe and everything else that comes with these
And we can
cubes.
guarantee you that there is 100% chance of
And it's always a
more
carnival here.
where that came from.
That's right.
Boom, got him.
Now they're locked in.
They're like, well, I have no choice now. It's 100%.
100%.
It's better than 50. My mom told me.
Good odds. I'll take those odds.
That's the new thing. All you got to do is say is my mom told me when I was young.
100% chance of this being an
100%
awesome podcast.
chance.
My mom told me that this is a 100% chance of being the best D&D podcast you'll listen to. So
Nice.
I'd take those odds. No, actually, it's 50-50. It's either the best or the worst. Just kidding. Okay.
Bring it in.
Baxter
Bring it in.
and Calen.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic for a little bit.
So, do I have much of a choice here in fighting care or not? And I hope that you'll answer these questions as my friend and not Care's lapdog.
You see, he walks over to a wall and sits onto the ground. His hands kind of like push up with his knees, and he like sits back with his head against the wall. You remember when we were younger and we would go around collecting all the discarded knickknacks that people would leave.
Treasure hunts? How could I forget?
Yeah. Yeah, and then we'd put it in whatever container we could find. Either your or my mother's ingredients bowls, and hide it somewhere. And draw a map, and we could only find it half the time, so that eventually our parents would come across this mysterious box full of garbage.
You know I don't forget much.
Yeah, you've always been pretty sharp. Hmm. And remember that first job we did for the overseers?
I do.
When before we took it, before we swore our oath, we promised each other that we would stick together till the end.
To whatever end.
Seems like things were simpler then. The world was less I don't know.
Upside down.
Yeah. Suppose.
I'll sit down in front of him. Yes, I remember all of our adventures, Baxter. And out of all of my adventures I've had, none have even come close to paining me as much as that day at the end.
Did you know I was given a choice? Doc, before I crossed the Tartix. Athreos told me it doesn't happen often, but I had a choice. My body was lost at sea, but I was given a proper burial according to Triton customs, so I could have ended up navigating the ever-changing waterways of You see, he kind of looks around. Or I'd come here.
Why did you choose this?
Truthfully. And he kind of shuts his eyes and rests his head back against the wall. Because I honestly thought this is where you were going to end up.
I did too for the longest time. And then we went to Krufix, his isle. And we actually met him. And I realized that no matter what I've done in my past, I can still change. I'm not shackled to my past just because it was a part of me, but it doesn't have to be a part of me. I wish you could have come with me. I wish a lot of things had turned out different than they did. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you ended up here. I'm sorry for a lot of things. I'm sorry that you have to be stuck here with Care.
It would ever end, right?
Yeah. So what now? Do Do you know how to leave here, Baxter?
Yeah.
Will you tell me? Because as much as I want to fight care and to prove him wrong, I think it's more important to myself to prove to myself that I can to not be impulsive. My group needs me, and the world needs us. I've met so many people along the way that just got dealt a really crappy hand. And a lot of them I've told that I will do my best to find a way to change their circumstances. And it pains me to know that out of all those people, that you're the one that I probably won't be able to help. And I'm sorry.
You see his head has been kept back up against the wall with his eyes closed. You see tears beginning to fall slowly down his face. I am glad you finally found yourself. And friends you're willing to stick with to the end. And I hope you make it. Whatever end that is. And he gets up slowly and he walks to the edge of the area. And he stops. Without looking back, he says, "Not far from here, there is a wall of sorts. If you follow along, it'll take you to where you're wanting to go." And you see he just walks out.
I chase after him.
Okay.
And I throw my arms around him. Thank you. You've always been my best friend. And you always will be. I love you, Paxer.
I love you too, Kasal. And you see Fighting Tears, he releases from the embrace, and before heading up the stairs, he says, "If you leave, you need to go now."
We will. And I just take one more mental image, knowing that it's the last time that I'll see him.
He looks heartbroken. But satisfied in his attempt to change and be different. Even in this place where people aren't. And then he turns around and walks back up the stairs.
I go back in the cube that he and I were in. And I will look at the symbol on my hand. I don't know if you can hear me. But if there's anything that you can do, please help him. I beg you. You know he doesn't deserve to be here. You know people can change. Please. And then I'll just cry for like 5 minutes.
And as you cry in this space where no one else can hear you, you remember all the good times and bad that you shared with Baxter. Up from when you were children to when you first joined the Overseers of the Lost, to the different jobs you did that went well and some that turned sideways, up until the moment you killed him aboard the Valiant. And when you sent his body off at the mercy of the waves. And you see your hand, the symbol, shimmer with the light of Nyx. And you know that your prayer has been heard. But you're unsure of what the outcome will be. And that is where we'll end our session.
Alright, that one got me.
I don't even want to
Woo, I
say
went in.
anything to just not ruin the moment. Wow.
Yep.
The music was so spot on too.
Thanks, Jefferson.
Thanks for my weekly dose of trauma, guys.
You're welcome.
Good.
It's good to feel your
Closure,
emotions.
right?
Good.
Thanks
Wow.
Wow.
for...
Just
wow, indeed.
We
Just
love
bravo.
you.
Love you too. Thanks for watching us. We love you guys.
Very
Have
much.
you.
If you cried, you have to follow. It's the rules.
Bye.